G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of Run With Soul. I'm Andrew Reedy-Reed and I'm joined in the studio by the White Kenyan himself, Dean Dino Deegan, and today we're broadcasting from the studios of 2GB 873, the power station. On this episode we're talking all things nutrition with Daryl Shots Griffiths. We're also getting to know one of the rising stars of triathlon. This young man recently came off second best with a 5-time world champion, but apart from that, he's won just about every race he's entered in 2015. Most recently, righting his wrong by beating a different 5-time world champion to the finish tape at Busselton 70.3. His name is Sam Appleton, and we're super excited to have him on the show today and find out exactly what makes him tick. We're also going to review the up-and-coming Sydney Morning Herald Half Marathon, amongst other races on the calendar. We've got a super fun competition that we really want you to be a part of, and Dino's got his favourite running song of the week. All that and more coming up right now. Dino, welcome back.
Thanks, Reddy. It's nice to be here.
Mate, episode 2.
Yeah.
We survived.
We did. I'm just hoping we can make double digits.
It's number 10. We can get to number 10, mate.
Yeah,
We've nailed the first one. We're heading in the right direction. What did you think of Gwen last week?
Oh, she's fantastic.
Absolute champion.
Yeah. Couldn't have started the show any better, I think.
And we're gonna touch on it a little bit later, but she smashed the PB.
She did by 9 seconds, I think, 9 or 10 seconds. Got the cookies there in the Sydney 10 on the weekend.
Yeah, she
Good
seemed pretty happy. I saw her on Twitter. She was stoked. And did she get much competition from Eloise?
She was probably, I think in looking at the results, she was about 40 seconds behind. Okay. She ran well. She got the Australian championship, so she'd have to be happy with that second year in a row.
Yeah, right. And we're gonna touch on the Sydney 10K pretty shortly, but Spotty was good too on the show.
Fantastic, getting a lot of good feedback about Spotty.
What do you think? You reckon we need to get Spotty maybe his own little segment on the show?
I reckon he was pretty popular.
He was. Yeah. We got a lot of tweet from the ladies saying, "Who is that hunk of a man?" Obviously, he must have a nice sounding voice. I don't know if they want to see him up close.
I think it was the 100 kilos that may have put you off.
Yeah, no one likes to hear about a bloke being 100 kilos Spotty. Unless he's 8 foot tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, everything good with you?
All's well. We had a great trip down in over in WA, down in Busselton there, you and I.
Yeah.
We're going to good times.
We'll talk about the pro race in a second. Obviously, everyone's pretty excited to hear about the pro race. But your race, how did you go? Tell the fans. I
had a great race. I was actually very, very happy. I came off the bike in 17th. I think I came out of the water in 66, and I think when you saw my stitch, you went, "What? 66?" Which is actually pretty good for me.
Is that 66 in your age?
I came out 66, and I'm actually normally further back than that.
Wow.
I was 34 and a half, but I think it may have been a little bit long. I think I was a little bit over 5 minutes behind you in the swim.
All those extra training sessions paying off.
That's right, down at Leichhardt Pool.
Nice one.
With Kieran Roach.
And so what happened? 66, then what happened? You got on the bike?
Got on the bike, rode myself into 17th with a 2:18.
Very nice.
It was a little bit cold out there. I managed to don some socks on before I left transition, which slowed me up a little bit, but I think it helped in the long run. Got off the bike in 17th, and then ran myself into second, where I passed you along the way there.
You did. You gave me a nice little tap on the rear end, which was cheeky. But I thought about trying to run with you, and then I remembered I'm pretty scarred from my last trip to Busselton, and as you know, I blew up horribly over there, and I played things very conservative and made sure that didn't happen again and didn't try and go with you. I think, what did you end up running? 81.
81.10 or something.
Not bad for a 44-year-old.
Yeah, and then managed to get drug tested at the end of it.
That's right, they drug tested you. I forgot all about it. Of all people.
Yeah, maybe because I've been hanging out with you.
I don't even think they find caffeine in your system, would they?
We'll find out, won't we, in a couple of weeks.
So you don't find out for a couple of weeks. What's the process? Tell the fans at home what happens.
Look, they pull you aside at the end, and they've got to be with you at all times. And what you've got to do is you've got to actually urinate 90 mils.
Wow.
Which is actually, it's not as easy as it sounds. 90 mils is, is a little bit. And I went in for my first attempt and
what'd you get?
Got 60 mils on the clock.
Mils.
So I had to go back again for another little stint and got another 35. I think I just ducked over the 90. So yeah, I was happy with that.
So for everyone back home who doesn't know how much 90 mils is, I know that probably sounds silly, but basically, so a shot of alcohol, if you go to a bar and you get a shot of alcohol, it's 30 mils. So Dino had to pee 3 shots and struggled. Obviously, you must have taken a leak as soon as you finished or something, or did you have a leak out on course?
Yeah, I did have a leak out on course.
Hey, what do you... Where?
Don't. I was hoping you'll ask this.
This is going to be a topic we're going to have to talk about.
Yeah,
obviously
en route. I won't say exactly where,
but
it wasn't near you when I passed you.
Thank God. Yeah. There's some interesting photos on the internet, actually, of people going to the toilet while they're racing. And in the run league, and there's a lot of people watching, I'm sure it's tough. Was it hard?
Well, you can actually get disqualified for going to the toilet out in the open on the run leg. Yeah, that's in the rules somewhere.
I guess it's against the law, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, well, you did it.
Well,
Where's the cops?
Yeah,
Call
exactly.
the cops.
No, I got away with it. Now I just got to get past the drug test.
So a second. So at least someone got on the podium from this great show.
Yeah, I was happy. Finished up with a 4:18, which was a minute PB.
Mate, that
but
is very
ended up
fast.
losing out to you in a tipping competition by 1 second. You want to tell them about that?
Oh, we did. So every time me and Dean go to a race, if there's a big group of us, we always have a little bit of a bet and see who can guess their time. And everyone chucks in $10, and there was 90 of us. There was 9 of us, so there was $90 cash on the table at stake. And I guessed 440, and Dean guessed 418, and Dean did 418.51.
50.
No, sorry. No.
I did 4:18.50, and you did 4:39.11. So you were 49 seconds off it.
Yeah, and
I
you
was
were
50 seconds off it.
So I got the
1
cash.
second in it.
But still, I'm a 22 minutes behind a 44-year-old. I think I need to pick up my game.
And viewers, with that money, he managed to shout us KFC a bucket on the way home with his $90.
We did. We were very naughty.
Yes.
And we stopped in at the KFC on the way home, and then we stopped into the bottle shop, and we proceeded to do a number on ourselves after both having pretty good races. My race went a little bit differently. I was very conservative. I came home in a 4:39, which is pretty good for me. I never get to ride a bike, so but I have been doing a bit of running. I was pretty disappointed in my swim, but I was happy with my run. Again, like I said, very conservative. I don't think I left it all out there, which I'm a little bit disappointed in, but unfortunately I went too hard the last time I was here and I was a little bit scarred. So, but it's good. It meant that I negative split quite heavily, and I'm on target for Gold Coast, which is coming up in July. So for the listeners, I've decided to have a good crack at Gold Coast. I'm going to try and finally put this 3-hour marathon to bed. I'm lucky enough to be doing it with it. There's a bit of a crew heading up there. So I think there's about 5 or 6 of us that I'm all friends with that are all going to try and break through. So we're all going to run together. And we're very lucky to have our own personal pacer in my co-host of this show, Dean Deegan, who's run a 2:30 marathon. He knows how to run a marathon, and he's going to pace us for 3 hours, which is very nice of him. How do you think we'll go?
We'll go all right. I'm sure we'll duck under it, both of us.
Being a flat course, should we have some sort of plan? Just stick to the time, 4:15 pace?
There is no plan.
There is no plan.
The plan is to break through.
Okay, don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy, Reedy.
Don't get greedy. Speaking of marathoning, just for the listeners at home, now, a lot of you probably don't know Dean very well, but you're going to slowly get to know him over the course of our podcast. One thing that you might not know is Dean is married to a beautiful woman named Julia. Now, Julia didn't have a strong running background. She was always a bit of a triathlete, but Dean was sort of the runner of the family. Now, Julia decided to do after having a bit of a bike crash about a year ago, she decided to take up running. She put the bike in the garage and said, that's it, I'm just going to stick to running for a while. It's a bit safer. And what happened was she kind of got the bug. I think she ran a pretty quick half. She ran a 78 half and said, I'm going to have a crack at the marathon. She ran a 2:43 for her first ever marathon. Well, that's unbelievable. What do you think of that, Dean? Are you concerned that she is going to soon to wear the pants in the family? Are you worried? What's your PB for marathon?
It is a worry at the moment. My PB is 2:30, but I said that was some time ago. She was stoked with that run down to Melbourne where she finished third on the podium, and she managed to run a qualifier for the Beijing World Champs.
Wow.
To be held in August. So
in her first ever marathon, she's qualified for the World Champs.
Yeah. We were actually planning on thinking about having kids, but that's been put on hold just for a little while. She's going to do Gold Coast. That's the plan, and then we'll see what happens from there.
So to still run the World Champs, does she have to do Gold Coast?
Oh, look, the team will be announced for the World Champs at the end of May.
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. Look, she's really an outside chance. I think she's sitting 4th or 5th in the lineup of girls. So she's got to hope that a couple, maybe a couple don't go or that they don't choose that event, and then she's got to get picked. It's not always a case of she's in after that.
What if she drops an unbelievable time in the Gold Coast?
Well, look, if she got picked for Beijing, she wouldn't run Gold Coast.
Okay,
She'd only do the half.
Gotcha. So when do you find out?
End of May.
Okay, sorry.
End of May. So which is a couple of weeks before, maybe a month before Gold Coast.
It is a month.
Yeah.
Gold Coast is first week in July.
So that's Gold Coast is the plan at the moment. Provided she doesn't make the team, she makes the team. Well, as I said, outside chance. She'll do the half.
Geez, doesn't make the team, right? Runs Gold Coast, drops to 2:35 or something.
Well, if she does happen to break 2:43, I think it is 2:43. That would be an A qualifier for Rio.
Rio Olympics.
Yeah.
That doesn't guarantee her a spot, though?
No, again, and then it comes in the pecking order.
Wow.
And there are some good girls running around at the moment.
But
we've got Lisa Jane Waitman coming back from just having a baby, and she's the #1 in Australia.
You know Lisa pretty well, don't you?
Yeah, we went to her wedding, and she's great. Yeah, it's great to see her back.
Awesome. She's do you think she can come back after having a baby?
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. Well, we know Paula Radcliffe ran a 2:35 in London just recently. We're going to chat about that a bit later. But so Dino, that's exciting to hear about your wife.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's a happy household.
It is. Will it be happy if she breaks your PB?
It won't be a happy household. But no, I wish it well. I'd be happy to see her run 2:29. God, yes.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be. Yeah, she'd have to grow another maybe half a leg.
She did that 2:43 in Melbourne. Tougher course than the Gold Coast.
Oh, look, times are pretty fast down in Melbourne. I think. Not much between those two courses, I don't think. And on the whole, I think it just comes back to the field, to the amount of people running around you at the time. But yeah, I don't think there's a hell of a lot in it, really, myself.
I guess if the teams are announced and she doesn't make it, a lot of the super fast girls that she would probably run with probably wouldn't be racing the Gold Coast, which I guess would make it hard. It'd be nice to have faster runners to push you.
That's a plus. But again, with the race down up in Goldie, there'll be the men around it too.
Okay.
So it's not like they go off separately.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. All right, mate. Good stuff. So Dino, let's review all the races from over the weekend. We had the Aussie 10K Road Champs first.
Yeah, ready. That was on Saturday morning. Let's we'll kick off with that one, and that we discussed that a little bit on our first show, and that was the winner of that was Liam Adams, who outsprinted Jake Birtwistle down the home straight there.
Wasn't that a fantastic photo? Robbo posted to Instagram of them both coming down the track. 1 second separated them. Unbelievable.
Got the cookies in 29.22, to 29.23. As I said, that is phenomenal running. Course record. Only the second year in a row, but
Marty Dent's course record?
Harry Summers. Harry Summers from the Sweat.
Record.
Yeah.
Oh,
won it last year, and I think it was around 29.40.
Okay.
So, yeah, good. That was good work by Liam, and I know he's going to be backing up again for the Sydney Morning Herald half next weekend.
I'm pretty sure you picked.
I think I may have tipped Liam just ahead of Jake. I said there'd be a good tussle, didn't I?
Yeah,
I said there wouldn't be much in it.
Not much in it. 1 second.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Shame you can't bet on these things.
Nah.
Well, so well done to Liam, and look, the times were quick out there. There were the first 4 guys were under 30 minutes.
Courtney Atkinson had a good race too.
Yeah, your mate finished 14th in a time of 30.51. He was another notable good performance there. Look, there was another noticeable performance I just noted was when I was going through the results. Looking at the results, there was a 14-year-old kid, Ben Bobbitt. Yeah, ran 32.52.
32?
I thought that was pretty impressive for a 14-year-old kid.
That's very impressive.
I actually Googled world record for 14-year-old kids for 10,000 metres. I couldn't get anything to come up, but I wonder what it would be.
Wow. What were you running at 14?
Oh, I wasn't even running at 14, 10Ks. But you got to think some of those Kenyans, those 14-year-old Kenyans, well, supposedly 14 years old, minus a birth certificate and a passport. Yeah. But, that's very good by that young kid, Ben Bobbitt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then
the ladies, Gwen got she got the cookies, and she, as you mentioned earlier in the program, she did a PB 32.12, and she is just on fire this year.
Wow.
She can't do a thing wrong. Eloise Wellings got the Australian Championship. So that was her second year in a row in 32.53. Well done.
Yeah, that rules Gwen out, doesn't it? Because she's American.
And she said she wasn't going to become an Aussie.
No, we tried. Yes, we tried to get Gwen over to not the dark side, the bright side.
So yeah, well done to the girls.
All right, and we had the Wings for Life down in Melbourne.
Yeah, that went well.
There was some records set. Was there a record set over where'd the guy win it? The guy 79K or something, didn't he?
Yeah, really. I did go roughly through those results. I actually couldn't work out which country it was from. It was AUT. And,
yeah,
I think we both sat there on the plane going, "Where is this?" But
if you know what the country was where the guy that won it ran the furthest, I think it was 79K. Let us know. We were absolutely stumped. Let us know on Twitter. We're on Twitter, run_with_soul, or you can send us a message on Facebook at Run with Soul.
We'd appreciate that.
We would really appreciate it if someone could help us out with that one. I think in Australia the winner did just over 71K. I think it was the male, and
yeah, I think it was just
female
over 70.
Yeah, it was about 53K, I think. But yeah, great performance down there, and they raise a lot of money for I think it's for spinal cord, for trying to help research in spinal cord damage, and obviously people that are affected, with that crippling disease.
And it's great to see that sort of stuff. Just like sort of fun runs raising money for charities. And also in Sydney this week, we've had the Outrace Cancer treadmill challenge, which is a 24-hour challenge going on. And I've seen that in Martin Place, I think it is. And
That's finished up today?
Yeah, I think it finished up this morning. So they raised over $50,000. So that's good. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Mate, it's all about getting active and raising money, I think, for charity. It's it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling. Now, halfway around the world, we had the Stanford Track Classic.
Yeah, we did. And some great performances there by some Aussies. We had, first of all, I'd like to mention, there's three of them that ran A qualifiers for the World Championships for Beijing later in August. The first one we'll go down was Ben St. Lawrence. We're hoping to have him on the show next week. Benny from Sydney, my old flatmate, my teammate, and one of my training buddies. He ran 27:44.24, ducked under the A qualifier by 0.8 of a second.
0.8.
He knows how to find the line, doesn't he?
When do you reckon he realised how close he was?
I reckon he's got it all under control, Benny.
Okay, you reckon? Cool.
But I tell you, he unfortunately just didn't. But, he still ran a qualifier for the Rio Olympics, but just missed out on a World Champs qualifier by 1/100th of a second, was Dave McNeil.
Wow, that sucks.
So it does, but congratulations for getting the qualifier for Rio, Dave. That's still a fantastic run, and I'm sure you'll probably, you'd make the team at that time.
Nice one.
In the ladies, we had Madeline Heiner, who is, as I said, we mentioned her last week. She's from Wollongong. She had already made the World Champs team for the steeplechase, but she ran a PB in the 5,000 metres, and she ran 15:11.
15:11,
which is great.
That's fantastic.
And finished 7th. There was another girl from Australia, Emily Brekachik, who's living in Canberra at the moment, and she ran 15:19.
Wow.
So
What's the Australian record for the 5K? For the ladies?
I'm not sure of the time myself.
If anyone knows, but you
stats,
do.
man. I'm slipping by the minute.
I'll get you to do your research eventually.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that. We'll bring it up next week on the show.
All right.
So well done to those three at Stanford.
Moving on, London Marathon. None of our predictions were right. I
wasn't too far after money. I got second.
And I got third.
Give me a break.
But still, we didn't pick the winner.
Canyon.
I don't know. I'm really bad with names. Kip Choi Gay?
It's not easy, is it?
No.
You're not far off the money, Reedy, I reckon.
But, I was doing a little bit of research into his splits. He ran the last 7K at 2:01 pace. He just took off from the pack. Talk about a strong finish. That kind of pace to be able to do that. He ended up, he finished with a 2:05, I think it was. Or 2:04?
2:04, I think. No, maybe a 2:05.
I think it was 2:05. But he's, I'd never heard of him, but he won Rotterdam in a 2:04, and he won Chicago last year in a 2:05. For me, I thought it was pretty cool how the Kenyans, they're always just so gracious in defeat. I mean, they just seem to talk about each other. I mean, you've lived over in Kenya. They're just...
I spent a month over there, and you said, how gracious they are. Look, I remember one of the things that really sticks to mind when I was over there, they mentioned first, and they really mean it, they all work together as a group and try to bring each other up. And I think that's, people say, what's the key behind the Kenyans doing so well, is that they actually want to see their other training buddies go well, kind of like what Gwen said last week with the Wizards down there.
Yeah.
But they said, and they used to all say, first you run for God, second you run for Kenya, and third you run for you.
Really?
So, they don't care. As long as they see Kenya, especially when Kenya beats Ethiopia, they're just
stoked. What a rivalry there is.
It is a rivalry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk a bit more about you spending some time over in Kenya, I think. I think the listeners would love to hear all about it.
It was great experience.
But Kipsang said, well done to my friend. He was just the strongest on the day. And they just seem to say it. They don't just say it because they feel like they have to for the media. They
genuinely mean it.
Yeah, you can see that they're, truly genuine. So, that's pretty cool. Paula Radcliffe, her last ever marathon, which is pretty sad. I'm sure she'll probably build out one in a couple of years, maybe, or something, just for fun. But 2:35.
2:35. 2:35. That's still that's still a qualifier for Rio.
It's 15 minutes off her PB.
Yeah, but I mean, I reckon we haven't heard the last of Paula Radcliffe.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised to see her line up at Rio or Beijing. Call me mad, but I think she'll probably make a team with. She's definitely going to make a team with that time.
You've predicted a lot of things there, mate. You could be right.
Why not?
Moving on, Port Mac.
Port Mac, it was on the Sunday, Port Macquarie Ironman. Look, it just poured on the Saturday, the Friday to Saturday. The water quality was absolutely terrible. I
remember we were sitting up in buses and we were like, oh my God, those poor people.
And we've picked the right destination, we said.
we
were quite happy.
It's your
very
first
happy.
leg of the bike. Oh,
yeah.
Let's talk about that later.
Yeah. Port Mac, the water quality was very, very bad. It was just a mud bath. I actually even had a report there was maybe a dead cow in the water. But anyway, a few people...
saw a photo, Spotty Anderson put a photo on Instagram. Oh no, it was Emmo actually, Mark Emmerdon, who runs Elite Energy. He had a picture of a wharf with a cow, and that was like a dead cow stuck under it. You could just see its legs sticking out, and that was part of the swim course. So,
well, I heard the Portaloos were crowded house in the run leg due to the maybe due to the muddy water. A few cooked people, gastro, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you get septicemia from that. That's dangerous. So, who took the win? Paul Ambrose.
Paul Ambrose took the win there in 8:35, which is great for him. I think he's been off the scene for a little while, so it's good to see him back in the winner's circle. He got the win there from Luke Bell, who finished up with 8:38, 3 minutes behind Paul.
PJ, our mate, didn't have that good a race.
He was never going to. He was never in.
Never going for the win.
Never going for the win, I don't think. I mean, I think he was going, he's always going for the win, but he just hasn't done the work because of, he hasn't been at full strength for the last couple of months, and it's hard to go out there and do a full Ironman at a high level when you haven't been doing the work because your body hasn't, allowed you or you haven't been well.
But he's got,
But there were very, very promising signs for Pete, and he went out there and did what he wanted to do, and which was validate for Kona, but not just go around. He had a good swim, he always does. Came out in 45 minutes with the other front two guys.
Well, he's validated. He's got his spot for Kona. Bit of rest now, I think, and then back.
He'll rest up, and he's a blessed athlete, and he'll go well, I'm sure, if he can get himself right, and he doesn't need long.
I'm sure, like all of us on this show, we'd love to see him make a comeback and get on that podium again at Kona.
We would.
Be awesome. Ladies, Lisa Maragon, she looked like she had it in the bag.
Well, she was leading on the run leg. She was leading on the bike, and I don't know what happened to Lisa, but she did end up having to retire from the event, so she ended up with a DNF.
Did we find out why?
No, I don't know. I haven't got to the bottom of that one yet. But also there was another one of our friends, Christy Sims. She was 15 seconds off the lead at one stage, and then she had to withdraw, and that was due to to a gastro bug. Yeah. Which she believes she got from the water.
Well, dead cows in there. You wouldn't be surprised, would you?
Yeah. So that was a shame for Christy, but she was still happy and positive that her form was good. Prior to that having to withdraw.
And who got the win?
It was Michelle Bremer in a time of 9:38.
That's pretty good. That's a tough course.
It is, from Jessica Fleming in 9:42.
Okay.
So well done to the girls. Just a couple of other notable performances, if I can just mention them. Indigenous athlete from Sydney, Nat Heath, finished in 19th position and won his age group.
Unbelievable. He would have beat a few pros.
He did. Yeah. He finished in 19th. He finished with a time of 9:28.
Solid.
And he's got a spot for Kona. The guy has been training so hard. I see him out quite a bit, and I was really stoked to see it for him. And I had asked him if any other Indigenous athletes had been to Kona. He said previously one. So I think he could possibly be only the second Indigenous athlete to,
How did he go? The first one?
I don't know a lot about him. I don't know much about him, but I actually thought I was hoping Nat would kind of be the first one.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would have been cool.
Awesome.
But it was great to see him win anyway.
Okay.
Ben Bell was the first age grouper home in 7th place in the 40 to 44s, my age group, in a time of 9:09.
Do you always check your age? Always.
I normally do.
Just to see where you sit.
He's I've had some battles, not battles with him. God, he's beat me every time, but he's a very good runner. So he normally always gets the fastest run lead.
Awesome.
And our mate Matty Harris.
Matty Harris.
Yes.
And my commentator extraordinaire.
Yeah.
He's my, what's the word I'm looking for? He's my teacher.
He's your offsider. Oh, yeah.
He's my offsider. He's taught me a lot, Matty. Good guy. How did Matty go?
We'll have to get him on the show one day. Matty won his age group in the 45s to 49s. He must have just gone up, Matty. And he did a time of 9:29. He wasn't far behind Nat at all. He finished in 22nd. And he's taken his spot for Kona too, which is great.
Kona.
Yeah,
Matty
good
Harris. Wow. So, if anyone can do it, Matty can do it.
Yeah.
Great athlete. Awesome. And we left Bustleton half for the end because I guess we were there and, we want to talk about it quite a lot. It was a great race. We, as we said before, we both had all right races. You got second in your age. But Perth always turns on the great weather, and we didn't have a cloud in the sky when we first started. But unfortunately, it was freezing on the bike, like probably the coldest bike I've ever had in a race, especially that first lap. Once you got out onto the course and you were riding through the forest, there was no sun. And for me, I didn't put socks on. And wet lycra, it doesn't like that no sun. And, oh, man, it felt like the only way to describe the pain I was getting in my feet was it was like someone put them in a vice and was just turning it for an hour and a half for that first 90K on the bike. So, yeah, it was tough. What did you think?
Look, I remember going for the drink bottle after about 5 or 10K, and my hands were just numb. I couldn't squeeze the drink bottle to get any water out. I maybe got a couple of drops, but that was about it.
Mate, I noticed there was drink bottles all out on course, and that's probably why, wasn't it? I guess people just literally, you couldn't, my fingers
just
were
couldn't
swollen.
control your hands.
Yeah, but all in all, the race went well. Once, I think after the second lap, everyone started to warm up a bit. The sun got nice and high in the sky, and as Perth does, and as Triathlon WA do, they just put on such a great race, and the run was great, and you had so much support out there on the run course. I really, really enjoyed enjoyed the 3-lap course out there. I felt like you could warm up for the first lap, start to build on the second, and then just bring it home on the third. And that's kind of what I did. And I mean, I guess that's probably what you did when you ran past me on the first lap.
Well, as you say, it's great. You get to see your friends and other competitors along the way. You're seeing them all the time. You know, it's a 7K loop, so you're passing them every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's great. And on the professional side of things, the beauty of me being up in the 35 to 39 category now is they usually send us off just after the pro, so I got to kind of watch the pro race unfold. And what I saw from young Sam Appleton was just amazing. We're going to be talking to him a little bit later on the show, but he is just going from pillar to post. He's just absolutely knocking them over. When I saw him and Terenzo working together on the bike, I was thinking, and then I saw the gap between those two and everybody else. I straight away was thinking, oh, he's got this. Like, you could see Terenzo had just won Taiwan. He's just won a few races. He's got to be tired. Sam's fresh. We know he can run. We know he's had a sprint finish with Crowe. I kind of felt like he had it in the bag there. And, yeah, it was cool to watch. It was nice to watch it unfold, and I'll never forget when I was coming down for my first lap, and I'd heard when I was coming out of transition, they said Sam Appleton and Terenzo are heading into their last lap, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm going to get to watch a sprint finish, and I happened to cross paths with them when I was when they had 3K to go, and Appo had he just opened up about a 5-meter gap and was just going for it. You could just see he was absolutely dropping the hammer. So yeah, really cool to watch. I think that's the best part about our sport is you get to be out there with the pros watching them race.
It is. Yeah, it is.
You know, so the winners there in the males, Sammy Appleton got the cookies, as you say.
Got the money there, and as I said, that was so impressive. Like, I'm looking forward to having a chat to him later in the program. Like, he rode a 2:02. And that's
course
averaging.
Record, I think, over
it
there.
was a course record, and that's 44 k's an hour, averaging 44 k's an hour for 90 k's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so impressive. But then to get off and run 74 minutes for 21k, that's that even doubles the performance.
He's definitely going from strength to strength for sure. Now I'll just touch on this real quickly. A lot of people said, it's a flat bike course. I reckon it's harder to ride a flat bike course. Like I did Bateman's Bay a couple of weeks before. I did Port on the weekend, and I found. Sorry, not Port, Busso. I found Busso harder. I feel like the flat course, you don't get a break. You've got to keep moving. What do you think?
Look, I remember doing Busso. I've done Busso 3 times now. And the first year I went over, I was quite inexperienced. And I've known Pete Jacobs for quite a while, a few years. And I remember Pete saying to me, and I remember just thinking it's flat, it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not hilly. And Pete was saying, look, it's one of the tougher bike leagues I've ever had to do because, as you said, you just don't get any rest. You don't get any let up. You do have to keep working the whole time.
Yeah, and and it was cold, and it was like, I found it quite hard. So to do it, to do that bike, to smash that course, 2:02, that's fast, mate. Very fast. And James Cunnama, he did the fastest run split of the day, I think.
71. Yeah, 71.
Yeah. Wow.
It's good running. Just missed Stixie's, Brad Colofeld's run record. 70, 35?
35 or 13. Could be 35. You're probably more likely to have it right than I am. And the ladies. Good little battle unfolded.
Yeah, Kate took it out. Shitty Ryan.
Yep. But Lizzie Blatchford, she was trying to run it down, and there was another girl, Katie Gibb. She ran the fastest girls run split. She ran something. What did she run? She
ran 81.20, I think. I think it was only 10 seconds. Yeah.
That's quick for a girl, mate. That's
good.
Very, very fast.
Look, the winner, Kate, Felicity Sheedy Ryan? Kate Sheedy Ryan? Felicity Ryan. Look, Felicity Ryan, is it?
Yeah.
She is... Look, I met her over in France in 2012 for the World Duathlon Championships. She competed over there, and she actually won the World Duathlon Championships. The Open, she took it out. It was the only gold Australia got in the whole for that whole meet.
She ran past me, and she would have easily been running 3:45s, and yeah, I had a chat to her.
She is a good athlete.
Yeah.
I really rate her, and she's a great girl too. And she's been injured for about a year. Great to see her back, and she is one tough competitor.
Wow. What did she run in the end? Do you know?
I'm not sure what time she ran, but she finished up overall with a 4:16.
Wow.
2 minutes ahead of Liz Blatchford.
Got you too, just by 2
minutes.
I
was third female.
You would have been on the podium.
Don't you? The guys do that, don't they?
I do that all the time. I don't even bother trying to race blokes.
It's quite sad, isn't it?
I just try and race girls. Yeah, it is, but I guess it's a credit but to
man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Now, we're going to talk to a guy named Daryl Griffiths while we're on Bustleton 70.3 because Daryl owns a company called Shots. And Shots, I guess he sponsors the 2 athletes that won Bustleton 70.3. And if you have a look at like the way that they had their race, obviously Daryl's doing the right things. And we've got Daryl on the line now. Daryl, how you going?
Going well yourself?
Mate, I'm very well. We just wanted to get you into the show, or on the show, and chat to you a little bit about what you're doing with these athletes and turning these guys into champions. For listeners at home that don't know, I did my first ever 70.3 about 2 years ago, I think it was, and I came off the bike just feeling terrible. I was bloated. I felt rot. And lucky enough, Daryl just happened to be standing around, and I said, mate, what am I doing wrong? He pretty much told me, he said, how you feeling? And I said, I'm feeling bloated. I feel terrible. And Daryl straight away said, you're drinking those sugary drinks, they're no good. And I was straight away said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, they'll make you feel bloated and make you feel really bad. And as soon as I got rid of them, I felt amazing. What is it? Tell everyone at home what we're doing, what you're doing to these guys to get them where they are.
I think the main thing is separating your hydration to your calories. And that's the key. It's your powdered or ready-made drinks. It's a one-size-fits-all. And it might work for some people in certain conditions, but it's something that a lot of athletes, and it's very, very well marketed, that, you need your calories in your drink and sugars and all that sort of stuff. But the fact is, every athlete has a different sweat rate. They have different sodium concentrations in their sweat. And you need to customize your hydration based on your own needs and also the conditions that you're racing in. And you can't do that with a sugary drink. It's a preset volume of fluid, it's a preset amount of calories, and it's a preset electrolyte composition. And it's akin to everyone riding the same size bike. That bike might fit some, but it's certainly not going to fit all.
Yeah, right. So did you have so you obviously had the two winners of Buston 70.3, Felicity and Sam. Was weather a factor in what you were doing with them, with their nutrition, or not at all? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Now, for those sort of conditions, it was actually, I think, 4 degrees for the start of the race. So it was very cold. And in those sort of conditions, you don't need to drink much. You only need to drink based on your losses. And if you're not sweating a lot, you don't actually need to drink a lot. So athletes who rely on the majority of their calories from a drink, two things happen in those sort of conditions. Is you either have to force yourself to drink a volume of fluid that you don't need at that time to access those calories, or you don't drink much at all and you don't access any calories, and that leads to early onset fatigue. So the thing is, your calorie component never changes. Whether it's 1 degree or 41 degrees, the amount of calories that you need is based on the intensity that you race at, and it's based on how much your stomach can tolerate. And for those really fast athletes, their energy expenditure or their calorie expenditure is massive. And, when like Sam Appleton was pushing out over 300 watts for the 2 hours that he raced, and that equates to, anywhere between 1,200 and 1,400 calories an hour.
Right.
But your stomach has limitations, and it can only, at best, tolerate about 350 calories over an extended period of time.
Before you start feeling sick?
Yeah, so comfortably. Now that doesn't mean everyone has to take 350 calories. It depends on the intensity that you race at. So if you're not having to rely on your drink for your calories, so this is the whole thing about separating calories to your hydration, is that we were still able to give Sam and Felicity the maximum amount of calories that their stomach could tolerate for the bike ride, without having to rely on fluids. They could just sit if they needed to. And the fact is, they didn't need to go through a lot of fluids, because a lot of people actually didn't start warming up until they actually got off the bike.
Yeah.
Well, I was the same. I only drank probably half a bottle on the whole bike leg for the 90Ks down there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reedy. I was just going to say, so with Sam Appleton, so you're saying he needs to take in 1,200 to 1,400 calories?
No, that's his calorie expenditure per
hour.
Oh,
okay. So you were saying he can probably stomach about 350 calories an hour?
That's right, yeah. We worked out, and that's the whole thing. It's about, in training, you go out and do some testing and see what sort of amount of calories you can consume. And the key to sports nutrition is you can see that that's a massive amount of calorie expenditure per hour, because they're pushing out a lot of wattage. And the key is to try and bridge the gap between how much you're losing and how much your stomach can tolerate.
For the average Joe at home, how does he do that? Like, I think I saw on Facebook the other day of you doing a bit of a sweat test. Is that you testing to work out how much you lose?
Yeah, well, I did. Well, I've been doing this sweat rate and sodium concentration testing for well over 10 years now, and I haven't done one for a long time. And with the new book that I've put out, Sweat, Think, Go Faster, I was interested to see whether my sodium concentration has changed over those 10 years, because what I've recognised over the time is that it's a particular number that you're given, and it really doesn't change, irrespective of how fit you are, whether you train in the heat, whether you eat a lot of salt, all those sorts of things. And it's a number that it's really important to know, particularly if you're going to race in hot, humid conditions, because with that number you can increase the amount of sodium to try and minimise the percentage of loss.
Can you put too much sodium into your body?
Well, in hot, humid conditions, it's unlikely, because you're limited to how much your stomach can tolerate in regards to the volume of fluid. And the fact is, if you use a simple analogy of the surface area of your skin compared to the size of your stomach. So if you were to slice yourself in half and lay your skin out on the ground, it'd cover a couple of square metres.
Right.
So it's a massive surface area.
Yep.
You compare that surface area to the size of your stomach, and your stomach's only about the size of your fist. It's distensible, but only to a certain point. So the fact is, the stomach is the limiter. That determines how well you're going to go on race day, because particularly in hot, humid conditions, when losses are a lot more, that's when that gap widens between losses and your stomach's tolerance.
Gotcha. So if I've just been an average Joe, if I wanted to find out what my number is, how would I do it?
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of a sports dietitian or exercise physiologist. I'm sure there's plenty around. They can do the test for you, and some will only do the sodium concentration. Now, that's one good number to know, but you need to know what your sweat rate is as well, and that's as easy as just pre and post weight, and spending an hour on the ergo or on a wind trainer, on a treadmill, and that way you get an understanding of what your sweat rate is per hour, and that way, particularly in hot, humid conditions, if you have a certain number you can work to, it's unlikely that you're ever going to drink the amount that you're losing. But like I keep saying, the key is to bridge that gap between what you lose and what your stomach can tolerate. And the same goes for sodium too, because the sodium concentration in sweat is there's a massive disparity between individuals.
So Darryl, for doing a test like that, you say you run for an hour at a bit of tempo, quite solidly at threshold pace, or
at race pace.
At race pace for an hour, and you'd probably weigh yourself prior to going out, maybe without the running shorts and the singlet on.
Exactly, weigh nude,
and then come back and then take the clothes off and then weigh again.
Dry yourself down. Yep. And the difference between your pre-weight and the post-weight is an approximation of your sweat rate per hour. So it gives you an understanding, and it's actually really good to do it with, 3 or 4 different people, and you'll see that.
What would the average weight loss be for something like that? Is it a kilo? Is it 2 kilos or half a kilo?
It can change. It can be, a big gap between individuals. Yeah, so, for instance, I've done tests with 20 odd people in a room, actually an athlete lab in Sydney, where there was 20 odd people there participating, and all in the same conditions, all holding, a race pace or close to. And the sweat rate for 1 hour ranged from 900 mils to 2.5. So that's just
quite a lot, isn't it, too?
It's
over 2 kilos.
Massive amount, because if you're setting a hydration strategy for that person who's losing 900 mils, they don't need to be near as aggressive with their hydration as the person who's losing 2.5.
Darryl, would it make a difference if you're in a room? Like I sweat. If I'm running on a treadmill in a room, I sweat. I feel like I sweat way more than if I was to go for a run out on the street.
Yeah, well, you've got that evaporation of sweat, so it's actually your numbers still are quite similar, and we've tested that quite often in real life situations out on the streets and during racing and that sort of stuff. Now, what you don't have when you're inside is just the ability to be able to not worry about who's around you, and at the intensity that you try and hold in training is nothing like you can on race day, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You always lift, you always go.
Always go. Yeah, it's very, very hard to try and mimic race day. So these numbers.
But just saying that, just getting back to that, it's hard to mimic it. Do you still believe that you should be practicing with your nutrition when you are training, and try and emulate what you're going to do on race day?
Yeah, not all the time, not every session, but I think it's important to at least, if you've got an important race coming up, and once again, particularly important if it's, a warmer or a hot, humid race, is to find out the maximum comfortable tolerance that your stomach can handle. Now, meaning that, if you have a sweat rate of, so let's say, 1.8 litres an hour, which is, pretty standard for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I test is, it's around about that number, 1.6 to 1.8. So if you know you're losing that much, you want to try and find a comfortable amount of fluid that your stomach can tolerate to try and bridge that gap to the 1.8. Now, obviously, you don't have to replace all that you lose. That's why we train and condition our bodies to be able to still function with those deficiencies. But yeah, that's really the key is to go out, find some good sessions, not all the time, but practice what your stomach can tolerate, because that's the determining factor in regards to how well you go during the endurance event.
Daryl, I sometimes find the gels a bit sweet. Like, I find they make me feel a bit sickly. How many gels would Sammy have had on the bike, you reckon, or in the whole race?
Yeah, well, he has one gel every 20 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot.
So he'll have 3 an hour, and that's pretty much with all the fast athletes I work with, and like the general rule of thumb for calorie intake or carbs is that 1 gram of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight per hour. Now, once again, it's a generalization in that you can have 2 60-kilogram athletes. Now, if one 60-kilogram athlete is just racing to enjoy it and go around and have fun and all that sort of stuff, and that generalization of 1 gram per kilogram of body weight per hour, which is about 240 calories an hour, might work for that 60-kilo athlete.
Yeah.
But then you've got another 60-kilo athlete who's actually racing, and they want to win, or they want to do really well, win their age group or win the race or whatever it might be, and they're actually competing at a much higher intensity. So those 240 calories for them,
not going to be enough.
It's not going to be near enough, because their calorie expenditure per hour is going to be a lot more than that other 60-kilogram athlete.
And what's an athlete going to feel when they don't get the calories in? Are they going to get that sort of tired, lethargic feeling, or are they just like the engine's out of petrol?
Yeah, because what you're doing at that intensity, you're burning a lot more stored skeletal muscle glycogen, and that's our privileged fuel source at a higher intensity. Now, if you're racing at a lower intensity, at a lower heart rate zone, you're able to access a lot more fat stores, and you spare that stored skeletal muscle glycogen. So you don't have to be as aggressive with your calorie intake. So the thing with the faster athlete is that if they're burning that stored skeletal muscle glycogen, if they're able to take in more calories, then that helps to spare that stored skeletal muscle glycogen, and they can hold a higher intensity for a longer period of time, and less likely to fade with that 4 or 5K to go on the run.
Well, we saw that with Sam Appleton with 3K to go on the run. He just took off like an absolute rocket. I know obviously there were other things at stake, like he didn't want to end up in a sprint finish, because I think the last 2 years in Busselton he's ended up in sprint finishes and come off second best. So,
he's 0 for 4.
0 for 4 in sprint finishes. So, yeah, we know he didn't want to do that again. But I remember I was running the other way, and he just, I know Terenzo was probably a little bit tired, but he just dropped him like he was standing still. He just took off and said, that's it. And, obviously he's doing the right thing with nutrition. If he can feel that good and do that at 18K in a run, to just drop the hammer like that. And, mate, Daryl, you're obviously doing very good things. The book is Sweat, Think, Go Faster. And mate, since I started racing and got away from the sugary drinks and started taking the shots tabs, whether it be running or in triathlon, I've never felt better. I just, you don't get that sickly feeling. I know some people swear by the sports drinks. I know Crowe races on Red Bull. I've heard he has a Red Bull when he races sometimes. I don't know. I guess it's whatever you can handle, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing, mate. Is that there's no one size fits all. But the key is to any athlete who races endurance events is that you've just got to find that limit of what your stomach can tolerate in regards to the amount of calories, the amount of fluid, and the amount of sodium concentration. But knowing your numbers, knowing your sweat rate, or having an understanding of how much you lose and your sodium concentration in sweat, you don't then have to guess. You can set a plan, and learning in training what your stomach can tolerate to bridge that gap. It goes a long way to getting the finish line feeling
strong,
a lot better.
It really is such a vital a vital, piece of information people need. I mean, these triathletes are spending so much money on bikes, so many hours of their week, like virtually their whole life, flights to go to these races, entry fees, and then, they're going to do these Ironmans, and all of a sudden they just haven't got their nutrition down pat, and they're blowing up, and, it's just really such an interesting topic.
It's like putting diesel in an unleaded petrol, isn't it? If you're not doing it right, the engine's not going to go, and if you've got no engine, well, your fancy bike's not going to help you, is it?
Well, that's the thing also, is that, how often, just in general, do you access your calories through a fluid? Now, it's I don't ever think the digestive system has been designed to consume calories through a fluid. Yet that's what athletes are expected to do.
When they're racing for 10 hours.
For hours on end during racing. And
then they wonder why they get sick.
Yeah, well, that's right. And a lot of the times they don't practice whether they can tolerate that much. Rarely do they actually go, okay, well, this is going to be my race day nutrition strategy. I'm going to actually go out and do a 4 or 5 hour bike ride, and I'm going to see if I can tolerate the amount that I require to ensure that I'm leaving T2 in the best shape possible to run a marathon. Now, it's the whole thing is that once you're on the marathon or once you start running, your stomach's limitations are even less again because you're throwing food and fluid down into it. It's like a washing machine.
Yeah.
At least on the bike, your stomach's, it's not moving around too much, so it's able to tolerate a lot more than when you can, when you run. So the key is for any Ironman triathlete is, try and consume as much as your stomach can tolerate on that bike to minimise your percentage of loss.
Well, I had a friend that used to say to me, the bike was just like, it's a rolling buffet.
That's,
exactly
is that?
what it is.
It should be a rolling buffet, the bike, and I always think about that. You should just be eating the whole time.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. And the thing is, like, when you, and everyone's got, devices now that monitors the calorie expenditure, the heart rate, all those sorts of things. And you've got all these wonderful numbers that just take note of what your calorie expenditure is when you're out for your long bike rides, and you'll see that it's a heck of a lot of calories that you're expending. And when you work out that, okay, well, I want to try and get as close to that as I can, and the fact is, you're a long way off what your calorie expenditure is. And that's why you train and condition yourself so much for these events, is that there's always going to be a deficiency. But the fitter and better conditioned you are, the better your body's going to be able to handle those deficiencies.
Well, Darryl, we're all out there looking for the perfect race. It's out there somewhere. You're definitely helping us in that quest. And I mean, thanks to guys like you, we're getting closer. We're getting closer to. That's what we're all out there trying to do as triathletes, aren't we? To find that perfect race.
So interesting, Darryl, talking to you. I've got to say, I think we could talk to you for hours and probably still not touch the surface.
Yeah, but we're about to chat to one of your champion triathletes. We're going to get Sam Appleton on the phone, and he'll tell us firsthand exactly what you're doing for him. And obviously it's good things you're getting him to the finish line first, which is great.
Yeah, we've been working together a few years now, and he's getting a real good understanding of particularly just changing the volumes of fluid depending on the temperatures. So, he can go to a race, and no matter what the temperature is, he knows what strategy he's going to use. And interestingly, that bustling race was the first time that we've experienced such cold temperatures.
Yeah.
That, I think the advantage that we had by separating hydration to calories is that he could still get all the calories that
he needed.
Required, that he needed, but he didn't have to drink huge volumes of fluid for those calories, which others had to.
Right. So did you potentially tell him to drink less?
Well, just drink to feel, because I went out for a bike ride the morning before that, around when I'm going to be out there, and man, and Dean, you can, and you're both out there.
I think Reedy did actually. You went out the morning before with
I
a
did.
few of those girls.
Yeah,
you said it was very cold.
It was freezing.
It was freezing, and you just don't feel like drinking. And the fact is, because you're not sweating much, you don't have to drink. You only drink based on your needs.
Okay.
And your needs weren't that critical for fluid. And I think the simple analogy is if you've got a bucket of water and it's full and it's not evaporating, you keep pouring water and it just sits over there. You don't need to top it up.
Yeah, gotcha.
And our body's exactly the same. Because we're not sweating much, we're not reducing blood volume. So that's the whole thing about this separating hydration and calories, is that you can customize and adapt to your own needs in regards to the volume of fluid. If you're a low sweater, moderate sweater, heavy sweater, you can change the volume of fluid. You're not stuck at a preset volume that you are if you're relying on calories in your drink.
So, Darryl, just let me touch on the Gold Coast for a second with you. I'm about to head up and race the Gold Coast Marathon. Now, Would you suggest that I take some shots tabs with me if it's going to be a hot race in like a little bottle, say, just to get my magnesium, my sodium in?
Oh, you mentioned that word magnesium just then.
What's that?
You mentioned the word magnesium. What'd you do that for?
Is that a dirty word?
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay, tell us why.
And I'll use a simple analogy. If you're admitted to hospital with dehydration, you're placed on a saline drip.
Right.
It's a 1 litre bag of water with 3,000 milligrams of sodium. There's
Gotcha.
not 1 milligram of magnesium in that saline drip.
Right.
Now, if magnesium was important to rehydration,
They'd have it in
those
there.
saline drips.
Isn't it funny, eh? We're all under the that impression that magnesium is, that's the reason why we're all locking up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's wonderfully well marketed. And, I've been in this game for 20 years, and I've done stuff with magnesium years ago. But the fact is, you lose very small amounts in sweat. And if you start with enough magnesium, you're going to finish with enough. But, once again, it's a very important mineral, and I'm not downplaying how important it is. But for a nutrition strategy, we need to replace what we're losing most of.
Gotcha.
And clearly, if you're admitted to hospital or end up in a tent, the medical tent at the end of a race, it's sodium. That's what they're getting back to, and the chloride component as well. I can go into chloride a bit, but we could probably spend another hour talking about that.
Yeah.
But, sodium is the single most important electrolyte that athletes lose in sweat, and it has a massive impact on how you function.
So would you suggest to take some out there on course in the marathon, or do you think? I'm hoping to run 3 hours.
Under.
It's 2:59. Do you think in a 3-hour race it's going to make a difference?
Well, I actually did some testing with some guys that are running Gold Coast just last Sunday week. These guys are shooting for 2:30s,
Wow.
pretty handy runners. But
Yep.
the fact is, they've run it a few times, and it's quite cool.
Yep.
Now, it's going to be dependent on the conditions, obviously.
Yep.
If it's out of the box and it's quite hot and humid in the morning when you are running, then you need to be conscious of your fluid intake. But then being mindful that your stomach really can't tolerate that much when you're running.
Gotcha.
If it's going to be a coolish day, mate, I would be more. I would lean towards the energy gels,
Yep.
and trying to spare that stored skeletal muscle glycogen, because with that calorie intake, it helps your muscles will pick up on that circulating glucose and help to spare that stored skeletal muscle glycogen, which you're going to require probably in that last 7 or 8 Ks when it just starts to get really, really difficult.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
And probably, best of all, a caffeinated gel, which won't actually give you any energy, but alters the perception of how you feel.
Yes,
So
I know
that's
how good your
negative
shots gels are. I love the cola ones. I tell you, I don't race without them. It's I reckon I'm convinced that your cola gel got me to a 49 City to Surf. It had nothing to do with the engine. It was all about the caffeine telling me that I could do it.
Well, that's it. That's exactly what the caffeine does. All it does is alter the perception of how you feel. It helps to numb those negative thoughts, like, this is getting too hard. What am I doing this for? And
yeah,
Reading on caffeine, it shouldn't be allowed.
I know.
No,
It should be
well,
illegal. Illegal.
That's an interesting point too, is that everyone will respond differently. Like, some athletes I've worked with have no response to caffeine at all. Others mild. Others just go crackers on it. It's quite interesting.
I reckon I was on to drink coffee, and I might have the odd tea here and there, but that's about as much caffeine I get in me. So if I have a shot of 90 milligrams of caffeine or whatever, mate, I am buzzing all day.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I saw it on Sunday on the way back to Perth in
Yeah,
the car.
yeah, caffeine, yeah. Anyway, mate, I love it. Daryl, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Daryl.
We
So
really
good to
appreciate your knowledge. It's mate, you're definitely helping some of the athletes of the future become the champions that they are, and mate, we'll have to get you on here again.
Yeah, happy to, anytime.
Cheers, Daryl. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks for having us, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
And that was Daryl Griffiths, the author of Sweat, Think, Go Faster. Make sure you get a copy of it, especially if you are an aspiring athlete that is looking to absolutely dial in his or her nutrition. Now, we've also got one of his athletes that is performing ridiculously well at the moment. He's won the last 4 races he's raced in 2015. He's had a sprint finish with Craig Alexander, 5-time world champion. Unfortunately, came off second best, but he's absolutely kicking goals in the 70.3 world. And we've got him on the phone right now. Sammy, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Mate, pleasure. Did I hear rightly? Did you have a win today or yesterday?
Byron Try, a little local one.
Little local try.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it was good. I wasn't really sure how I'd pull up after Busto the week before. I pretty much did no training, but went in and felt all right. Managed to come away with the win, so it was good.
Nice.
Mate, I don't know how you do that. I've honestly been hobbling around all week. I did busso, and I couldn't have thought of anything worse than racing yesterday. So I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I actually pulled up okay from the race. I don't know. Yeah, usually I can't walk for 3 or 4 days, but I was pulled up okay, I think.
Mate, we were just talking to your main man for the nutrition. Do you think the nutrition plays a big part in it? Like, if you feel your body right, you'll recover better?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Especially, if you put in the right stuff in your body, you're going to recover a lot better, I think. But Daz is the brains behind my sort of race strategy as well, which I think played a big role in the win at Busso. Just because it was so cold, I think a lot of guys would have been relying on like sports drinks and things to get their calories.
Yeah,
because
right.
it was so cold, they're not going to be drinking all that much.
Yeah, gotcha.
My drink was just electrolytes, and I was getting all my calories from my gel, so I just made sure I was getting those down, and I think it really helped.
What was the
helped in the win.
What was the pro field like at Byron? Was it quite strong?
It was okay. Timmy Burkle raced. 7th at Kona last year. He had a little hit out as well. He got 3rd.
Okay.
And then there was a couple of other guys that travelled down from Brisbane and Gold Coast and things. So it wasn't super deep, but
Nice.
there was
Still.
a couple of guys there that can win it on the day. So I had to make sure I pulled my finger out a bit.
A win's a win, yeah, like Dean said.
Yeah,
Was there much of a prize purse? Did they pay any money?
Yeah, there was $1,000 for the win. So it was,
all right.
yeah, it's not bad considering it's only 5k up the road for me. So
Nice one.
Home track
a
advantage.
nice midday start. So it's better than the 6:30, 7am starts that I'm used to for the 70.3.
Yeah.
You got to sleep in.
yeah, I loved it.
Mate, you said Timmy Burkle got 3rd. I know Timmy's training. Timmy in that train with Giles at Lennox, is that right?
Yeah.
So, and you're with Timmy Reid in Byron?
Yep, so Tim Reid's about 3 or 4k from me in Byron. I'm just a little bit south of that. But yeah, I do, Tim's my coach. So when he's not racing, he's overseas at the moment. I'm usually doing pretty much most of my training with Tim.
He raced today, didn't he? Yeah,
he got 2nd at Vietnam, 70.3. So
who got the win there?
James Kunama.
After he had a big run in.
Of mine, because I've just signed on to that Bahrain team. So it's good to see. I sort of had mixed emotions when they were running together. Tim's my coach. I want him to win, but James is my teammate now, so I want him to win as well. So
Yeah, right.
I didn't know who to cheer for.
Can you tell us a bit about that? I noticed that you've just signed on with the Bahrain endurance team. How does that work?
So that's basically the Prince over in Bahrain had this vision to create a team of 13 athletes, like elite athletes, to form a team and to race under the Bahrain colours. And he's got a vision to support, triathlon, endurance sports, and health and wellness across the Bahrain and the Gulf region. So it's not just about sport, it's about raising awareness for leading a healthy and active lifestyle. And I was lucky enough to get contacted earlier this year and get myself a spot on the team. And I think it's for someone like me who's sort of just up and coming at the moment, I think it's gonna be really beneficial for me to establish myself and build my profile.
Oh, mate, will it what? You've got a pretty elite stable in that team.
Yeah, 100%. There's some pretty impressive resumes on there. So,
Who are some of the names on the team, on the Bahrain team?
Frodeno?
Jan Frodeno, Javier Gomez.
Wow.
Yeah, Trenzo Bazzoni, Daniela Riff, Caroline Steffens. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys with some pretty established resumes, as I said. So, I'm just...
and how does it work sponsor-wise? Do you get some sort of... How does it work with product, or is it bonuses?
We're able to keep all our own sponsors, which is, a really, pretty enticing for us. We didn't have to leave any of our sponsors that have supported us over the years. So, for us, there's a bonus system in place for winning 70.3s and challenge and Ironman events. So, it's a good incentive to win some more races.
Do you guys split that, or is it just if you win, you get the money, the bonus?
So there's a certain percentage goes to the athlete who wins, and then there's also a percentage of the win bonus that goes into the team.
Oh, wow.
So there's 13 athletes in the Bahrain endurance team, and depending on how many races the team wins throughout the year, we all sort of split that percentage of prize money that goes back into the team. So it really sort of develops a sense of camaraderie, I think, and everyone's supporting each other. And they've actually done a really good job in establishing that team. And I think we're all supporting each other no matter where we are in the world. So it's pretty exciting.
Mate, I think it's really exciting. What I sort of took from it when I saw sort of the big names signing up was I just recently went to the Formula One for the first time, and I know that probably seems a little bit off topic, but when I went there, you didn't see any other team colours other than the Red Bull team. everyone had the Red Bull gear on, and I think that's probably what we're going to see in the coming year. You know, they'll probably bring out a clothing line, and I think it'll help really promote the sport of triathlon as well.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the team's obviously got some pretty strong athletes, and we've had a pretty successful couple of weeks, winning a few races around the world. So, you know, I think we've started off well, and it's only going to grow from here. So it's exciting to see where it's going to take the sport of triathlon, I think.
Mate, I saw what you were racing in buses, and did you have the branding on your gear? I didn't see it.
I didn't actually. I had a suit in the process of being made, but unfortunately it didn't make it in time before Bustleton, so I had to race in my old kit, which is a little bit disappointing. I wanted to, you know, really, especially because I won the race, I wanted to sort of get the team name out there and show that I was on the team and supporting the team. But that was a little bit disappointing for me. But you can guarantee the next race I'll definitely have my suit and I'll be wearing the colours with pride.
Sounds good. Sam, what I wanted to ask you, I guess, being a running-based program, is what are you doing to at the moment, or what have you been doing to run a 74-minute half marathon off the bike, especially off a 2:02 bike leg?
I think my big improvement over the past sort of 6 months has been in my bike. I've always been able to run well, but I think my problem before was the fact that my bike was a little bit weaker. So I was getting off really tired and not sort of running to my full potential. But working with Tim over the past 18 months, we've really turned my bike into a weapon that I'm able to use in races now. And, you know, I've won a couple of races this year off the back of a strong bike. And, I think that strength in the bike is sort of translating over into the run as well.
Tell me, have you just started, has it also, could you put that down to possibly riding to power? Are you riding to power now and maybe you weren't before?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been using power now, probably about 18 months. Ever since I started with Tim, you know, he really encouraged me to get a power meter when I first started working with Tim Reed. And since then, the training, you can just do so much more specific work on the bike, and you can really monitor and see tangible improvements in your sessions as well. And I think that's really important.
Hey, Sammy, take us back a little bit. When did you start working with Tim? Obviously, you've got a good relationship with him now. Has this been a while? It's not that. I mean, I know you've only just recently moved up to Byron, but how long have you been working with Tim for?
So in the coaching capacity, about 18 months now, but I've known Tim for a few years. You know, we were racing, we were competitors, and we sort of, you know, struck up a bit of a friendship through racing. And I was always fascinated by his training, and he always seemed to have a really good grasp on his own training, and, you know, his methods really seemed to chime with mine. And I asked him just flat out one day, I'm like, hey, would you be interested in coaching me? And,
did you not have a coach at the time?
No, I was doing my own thing. And, you know, I wanted something a bit more specific, and it's a bit of a conflict of interest because obviously Tim and I are competitors as well.
Yeah.
But we're at different stages of our career, and I think, you know, I've noticed huge improvements since working with Tim, and he's made a lot of changes. And I've seen some big improvements, and I'm actually looking forward to. I haven't raced him in a while, and I think I'm in my best form I've been in, so I'm looking forward to racing him soon and get one up on him.
I remember when you two went head to head in was it the Gold Coast?
Yeah.
Was that when he first started coaching you, or around?
No, that was Challenge Gold Coast. I'd probably been working with him for probably 6 months.
Yeah, well, I knew it wasn't. I knew it hadn't been very long. I knew that. Yeah. So, and I think that was when you were starting to really find some form, and you were. Yeah. You were gonna. It was. I think he was getting concerned. I think he got you in that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think he's always been able to sort of have one over me, but I think you know, I really want to sort of see where we're at now.
You think it could be the changing of the guards?
Maybe he'll probably start sending me out on 5-hour rides.
Yeah, that's right. 5-hour long night.
The day before the race. He's a funny guy, Tim Reed. I was lucky enough to spend a bit of time with him over in Vegas at the World Champs. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. But we ended up in a stretch limo going to Vegas the night after the race. And mate, he's surprisingly funny. I listened to him on another podcast just recently, and he's a funny guy. Does he come across that way as a coach as well?
Yeah, for sure. You know, training with Tim's a blast. You know, we get along really well. You know, it's not just a coaching relationship where, you know, we're good friends and he mentors me a lot. But yeah, it's great. You know, he's a great guy and he's got his head switched on. And yeah, I think he's got me onto a good path at the moment, and it seems to be working. So. Nice
one. Now, I noticed you're studying. Are you still studying at uni? Bachelor of Science?
I've since moving up here, I've sort of put that on the back burner. You know, I was starting to really sort of see some success with triathlon, and I really wanted to give myself fully and, you know, give it my all. So I decided to put study on hold for a little bit, and I just really wanted to see where triathlon can take me. And, you know, this year has been really successful for me, and I think it's sort of the first time that I've sort of realised that, you know, this can be a viable option for me through the future, and to really make a career out of it.
Mate, you're definitely proving that at the moment. But what did your folks think of that? Like, you know, you've moved halfway across the country. You've given up your uni studies. I mean, a lot of champions have done exactly the same thing and done that exactly, proven their parents wrong. Were they a little bit concerned when you decided to do that?
Not really, actually. They sort of, they've always supported me in what I wanted to do. And Mum also does triathlon as well. She loves it. She couldn't be happier where I am at the moment, and my dad, he really supports me as well. So, they weren't disappointed at all. They were actually really encouraging and really great about the whole thing. They really was chasing what I wanted to do and chasing my dreams. So it's those guys behind me, and they've obviously supported me for so long, and I owe them so much.
Mate, take us back a little bit further. You said that your mum did triathlon. Is that how you got into it? How did you get into the sport?
So I started off as a swimmer, and I always played soccer, and I did school cross country, and I was reasonably good at it, and just sort of thought, why not throw a bike? And I think when I was about 13 or 14, and through school I kind of dabbled. And then when I finished school, I really sort of started to take it seriously through the ITU stuff.
Yeah,
I did that for a couple of years.
You were living out Western Sydney at the time?
No, I actually moved to Wollongong, and I was training under Chen Centre in the New South Wales Institute of Sport there.
Oh, okay.
We had the last I really enjoyed it. We cut through sort of the ITU, and after that.
Hey, Sammy, I'm sorry, mate. We're losing you a little bit. Is there any chance you could... have you moved anywhere?
No, I haven't, but the reception's pretty bad here. Let me go outside.
Yeah, let's try that.
Sounding a bit better.
Yeah, it's definitely sounding a bit better.
All right, give me a sec. Is that better?
Yeah, that's heaps better. Thanks for that. Don't move, stand dead still. That's probably hard for a bloke that loves to race for 4.5 hours.
That's right. Asking the wrong guy.
So when did you move from? So you were originally from Penrith, is that right?
Yeah. So I was originally from the Blue Mountains. Just about 20 minutes from Penrith.
How did you not get caught up in the magic mushrooms out there? Isn't that pretty famous for that out there, isn't it?
That's more the mountains up the Katoomba and things.
Yeah, right.
The upper mountains area. Lucky enough, I was a bit further down, a bit more grounded.
No seeing dragons while out on your long rides?
Yeah, that's it. No, but I went to school in the Blue Mountains, and then when I finished, I moved to Wollongong and did the ITU stuff with the N-Swiss guys.
Yep.
And really enjoyed that. But after about 2 years, as I said, it's just so cutthroat, and I was starting to really not enjoy it. And it was more about sort of, I was just, I didn't have a good year, and I just, kind of just wanted to take a bit of time away. And I did that, and I went to uni, and I did uni for a few years, and I slowly got back into sort of long course stuff just through, just because I missed the sport, and I started, having some reasonable success, and all of a sudden, here I am now, and I'm loving every minute of it, and I couldn't be happier.
Oh, why wouldn't you be? What, you've won 4 races this year now? 5? 4?
4 races, and I got a second at Geelong. Crowie, the old bugger, got me at the end.
We know. We mentioned that in the intro. Yeah, mate. How was that? I remember I listened to your speech, and I actually wanted to compliment you on your speech at Busselton. I was lucky enough to be there and watch you get up at the presentation dinner. And I tell you what, I know that you look at football and sports like that where the players get paid a lot of money, they get a lot of media training. I'm sure that's not the same thing in triathlon. And what I really thought was really professional of you was the speech that you gave when you got up on stage. You went up, you shook everyone's hand, the top 5 and the top 5 of the boys and the top 5 of the girls, and then you gave this really, it wasn't even scripted, it was just off the cuff, and I just thought it was really, really professional. I was
thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was pretty nervous, so I wanted to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
I got up there and I had a sort of vague idea of who I was going to thank, and obviously the guys at Busselton do a fantastic job, and I just made sure I thanked all the right people and my competitors, and then I thought keep it short and sweet, and people can get on to the after party.
Yeah, and as I was getting to before, what was it like? That's what I was saying before. Sorry, you mentioned I think it was in that speech how you ended up in a sprint finish with Crowie, and you didn't want the same thing to happen again at Busselton. What was it like being in a sprint finish with Crowie, knowing how good a runner he is? Even at 42, is he 42 years old?
Yeah, he's old enough to be my dad, I think.
Yeah, he's still running 2:43 off the bike. That's ridiculous,
He's, Crowley's someone I've looked up to for so many years, and it was kind of a surreal feeling to be running with him. And I don't think I got overawed by the situation, but I definitely let Crowie dictate the terms then. And in Busso, it was almost a mirror image, running with Lorenzo, another 5-time world champion, and someone I've also watched and admired for many years. I kind of wanted to sort of take it into my own hands a little bit, and I think I learned a valuable lesson in Geelong, which I was able to utilise in Busso and come away with the win. So
back to Crowie, mate. Be honest. Did you let him win? Just because he's a bit older. Was it a respect thing?
The old guy, he's definitely got some fight, and he destroyed me out there in the run, and he's a class act, and if there's one person in the world you don't want to be going head to head with for 21k, probably Crowe. He just knows how to win. He's been in that position so many times, and he's not a 5-time world champion for nothing.
The other thing I wanted to ask you in regards to that sprint finish not sprint finish, when you took off from Terenzo, I think it was me that yelled out to you about the 3K mark when you had 3K to go. I think I said finish it off. Did you hear me say it, and is that why you won?
It definitely helped.
So you did hear me?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, awesome.
Usually I get I kind of had a bit of tunnel vision, so I think when you yelled it out, I was like, I think that was Reedy. I was just kind of, I didn't even really expect to drop Terenzo when I did. I kind of just lifted the pace and wanted to hurt him a little bit and just see where he was at. And I got a gap, and I was like, oh man,
it's a nice feeling.
3K to go.
Yeah, I remember you said to me, he went for a drink at the drink station, and you said, see you later, I'm out of
exactly,
here.
Yeah, and I just kind of saw red and just went for it, just tunnel vision straight home, and yeah.
Mate, you're 24 years of age. You're absolutely
25.
smashing.
I just turned 25.
When was your birthday?
It was in April.
Okay.
End of April.
I've got to do better research. You got to update your blog, mate.
Oh yeah, actually it does say 25.
It does, and it doesn't mention anything about. Does it mention Team Bahrain? I don't think it does. You might have to get that on there too.
No. Yeah, I do need to update that actually.
It does mention you do a bit of maybe part-time lifeguarding work. Is that still the case?
Yeah, actually I did. That needs to be updated as well. Yeah, I used to run. Be a supervisor at. I worked for the Blue Mountain City Council at the swimming pool there.
Pool.
Yeah, I loved it. It was an awesome job. I love it.
You any good in the waves? Could we get you down to Bondi?
Oh mate, yeah, just say the word.
We were going to say if you needed any tips off the master over here, the lifeguard master himself.
Yeah,
and what about Bondi Rescue? Do you watch it?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Oh, mate, I'll give you $100 later.
Got to say that.
Mate, as I was saying before, 25 years of age, and you're absolutely smashing the 70.3 circuit. We know Timmy Reed's also focusing on the 70.3 circuit. Is that just purely for getting fast at 70.3? When do you decide you want to go to Ironman? You're pretty young. Crowe won his first one when he was quite old. It seems to be it's more of an experience thing, Ironman.
Yeah, for sure. I've still got so much to learn. Even in 70.3s, I still learn something every race. And I don't want to put an age on it, but I think I'm still a couple of years away from, at least a few years away from Ironman. But you never know. You never know what happens, and you never know where your sort of career can take you. But 70.3s, you can race 10 of them a year. But Ironman, you're sort of restricted to racing, really too competitively to your ability. So at the moment, the 70.3 is a lot more viable for me, and honestly, I don't think I'd make 42k.
You've never run a marathon before?
No, never. I'm ready to stop at 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got down here on your bio that your favourite session of the week is the solo long run.
Yeah, I love it. Because I grew up in the Blue Mountains, and
got some good trails up there.
Yeah, I did quite a lot of training by myself, and I used to just love it. Getting out there and just in the bush, and you're just by yourself, and it's kind of hard to explain, but you just get out there, and sometimes it seems like a drag to get out there, but once you're in the bush, and it's just awesome. You can't really explain the feeling. It's you sort of just.
You are.
Yeah, touch with nature, as
great
cliche
trails.
as that sound.
Up at the Blue Mountains. I've done the Woodford to Glenbrook a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Love that race.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look, how long are your long runs? When you say you go out for solo long runs, what sort of distance and time are you running when you do those?
Usually if it's a long run, I probably won't really run to a Garmin. I'll just sort of tick off some time, anywhere between 90 minutes to 2 hours, I guess. Yeah.
Do you go out with headphones?
20 to 25.
When you go solo, or you just like to listen to the birds?
Actually, lately I've been doing a lot of running with headphones, but I never used to. I used to just love running in the bush, just really
taking it.
I don't know, just alone, and it's just that that solitude was really sort of soothing for me.
I think you've got to be a long distance runner to understand how enjoyable those long runs really are. I did 28k yesterday, and I loved it. It's not fast. It's just a comfortable pace.
Exactly.
That's when I do most of my thinking, and it's
for sure.
You've almost got to
solve the world's problems.
You do. You did say that you do start to take headphones out now. Is that so that you can listen to great podcasts like this?
Oh, actually, I've been loving the podcast lately. It's, I've been listening to them all the time. As soon as I got a session by myself, it's the headphones and some podcasts. So unless it's a tempo session, I'll bring out some dubstep or some heavy metal or something.
Heavy metal.
Mate, I hear you've got a very, very strict curfew with your bedtime. Is that on the grapevine?
Who says that?
Oh, one of your mates. Kieran Rach reckons it's an 8:30 deadline. You've got to be in bed before 8:30.
Thumbs in the mouth, tucked in.
It gets ugly. True or false?
I I do like sleep. I do like sleep. It's definitely not 8:30, but
Okay.
How many hours a night? How many hours a night do you need?
I usually like 8 if I can. I just don't like getting up too early and training early. I like to sleep in. I'm more of a gentleman of leisure.
Is it much nicer being up at Byron, getting out early on the bike, as opposed to doing it in Penrith or in Wollongong?
Oh yeah, like when I was in Penrith last winter, I was riding in sub-zero temperatures. Here I've only cracked out the arm warmers. That's all I've needed first thing in the morning. So
that's
it's
nice.
quite mild.
Sam, what do you call a sleep in, like in Byron? Like what would your normal time you'd be getting up for sessions up there?
I'm meeting a couple of guys at 8 o'clock for our first session.
Which is early for you, or?
No, that's
8 o'clock. That's gentleman's
8
hour,
o'clock's
isn't it?
pretty late actually. Usually I'm meeting anywhere from 6:30 to 7. I definitely don't like the 5 a.m. starts.
Nah. Oh, I love him.
He loves it. 4:30.
Oh, okay.
He tries to get me out at 4:30, 4 o'clock sometimes. I'm like,
Right.
you mad? I'm just getting to bed. Like,
It
not far off that.
does have its benefits. Like sometimes, I used to do it quite a bit. Get up. Obviously, if I was working or still at school, you'd get up, and it feels good to get it done. Sometimes you finish your session at 7, and it's a good feeling. But there's no better feeling than sleeping in.
Yeah, I know the feeling well.
When you got a nice lady in the bed, how's the lady situation going? You can say no comment, or you can tell the world that you're single and you're looking.
No, it's no. I'll no comment on that one.
Can't you tell me? Can't you?
No
You don't want to tell
comment.
everyone about Bustleton?
Sounds like you, doesn't he? What is it with you lifeguards?
Oh, mate.
No, we'll have to do that one off the air.
We'll do that one off the air. All right, done deal, mate. What is next? Where are you racing at? Where can we see you race?
I'm going to do Cairns 70.3 in June 14th.
All right.
So that's about 4 or 5 weeks away.
Okay.
So, I'm going to sort of lock myself down for a few weeks now and knuckle down and get the training done and hopefully, carry that form that I had at Busso over up north.
What's your? I mean, you guys don't find out the elite start list till a little while out, but I guess you sort of get a bit of a vibe on who's racing. Will Timmy be up there?
Yeah, I've spoken to a few guys. Tim Burkles wants to race. Reedy's thinking about it.
Timmy won the full distance up there, didn't he? Just recently, last year or year before?
He got second 2 years in a row. He got second.
Oh, that's right, he did too. He ran a 240. 242
or 2. I think it was 244.
You're right. Yeah,
Or
he
maybe
was
it was
chasing
quicker.
someone
If he does
down.
quote me on that, he'll probably.
Yeah. Okay,
so let me live it down.
Yeah, right. So Berkey's so he's going to race the half, is he?
Yeah, because his main focus is Kona this year. So
Okay.
he already did Melbourne.
Oh, yep.
If you're doing another Ironman before Kona,
Yeah,
probably it can take a bit of the wind out of your sails.
Yep. Who's your biggest concern for Cairns?
Probably Reedy if he's racing. He's killing it at the moment. But
He doesn't tell you?
Yes.
Said he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's got a new. He's got a little one on the way, so
He does too.
we'll have to see if he's allowed out.
That'll make two, won't it? For
Yep,
him?
it will.
And what about you, mate? What's the big goal, the long-term big goal for you?
I just want to keep improving. If I keep my head down, keep improving, I definitely can see myself, being competitive at an international level. Because, while I've got some good results this year, it's all sort of at a domestic level, and I really want to take my form internationally. So this year I'm going to look at racing 70.3 Worlds in Austria. So I know if I race my ability, I know I can be competitive there. And that's just my main goal, and to keep enjoying the sport,
Is the world? Sorry to interrupt, Sammy. Is the world? Is the world's like for the pros? Is it like Kona? Do you have to qualify?
70.3 Worlds is you get points throughout the season, and the top 50 pros get selected to race. Yeah.
I guess you've already qualified with a couple of wins on your belt, a couple of wins in the second.
Yeah, I think I checked the other day. I was at number 18, so
wow.
Another podium should give me enough points to get there.
Yeah. And what about prize money? Is there much prize money on offer in that event?
At the 70.3 Worlds, it is. I'm not actually sure what it is. I think it's about 150,000 total prize purse.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fair bit to be made, and obviously there's some incentives from sponsors and things as well. So it's a bit of money there.
Next year, chasing the big money over in Dubai and those sort of places.
Bahrain.
Well, I'm actually because I am on that team Bahrain as well. I probably will look at doing the remaining Triple Crown races.
Yep.
So there's one in Bahrain in December, and I think there's one to be confirmed as well. In a few months.
Does it scare you thinking you've got to go up against Gomez and Frodeno?
It does a little bit, I suppose. You look at those names and they're pretty. They're obviously big names, big hitters in the triathlon world.
But I mean, you took down Torrento, Bozzoni, and he's one of the form athletes at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Terenzo's, when he's on, he's one of the best guys in the world as well. So, my confidence has grown so much in the past 12 months, and especially this year. Like I said earlier, it's the sort of first time that I've actually, sort of believed that it's a viable career and that I can sort of mix up with the big guys.
For me, I think that there's a lot of exciting things happening with 70.3. I think 70.3 is almost becoming the new ITU. There's so many guys that's such an elite level, and you can see your Gomez's are coming up to race those 70.3s. Like, all you guys are all about the same level, and you're seeing sprint finishes over 4-hour races. It's like, it's exciting to watch, and I'd love to see more coverage of it. And I think you're coming through at just the right time.
Yeah, I think, 70.3s are really booming at the moment. They are super competitive. They've just sort of grown over the past 3 or 4 years, I think, and you can't go anywhere without at least lining up against someone who's pretty established.
Yeah,
there's
no
cherry
guys
picks
going around.
Oh, definitely. For sure. I just feel sorry for you guys. Like, the ITU guys have only got to go around for, 2 hours? Now you guys have got to smash yourself for 4 hours and finish with a sprint finish. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's it. But, my track record with the sprint finishes is pretty bad.
0-4, I think Darryl told us earlier.
Yeah. Oh, the past 2 years are bust, though. Actually, I've been out-sprinted, so I was having some disturbing flashbacks.
Got to work on your kick, mate. Work on your kick.
Work on the kick. Dino, any tips? Dino's a very good athlete runner.
I was like you, mate. I had a record like you with sprint finishes. I was probably 0 for 20 or something. I think I got one, maybe one for 20.
Yeah, I have to go out and lace up the spikes and start doing some 100-metre reps.
Get some tips off you, Sane.
Mate, Sammy, there's a question we're sort of going to ask everyone at the end of each interview is, if you could organise a fun run anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Anywhere
in the world, a fun run that you think that you could give back to sort of the average Joe that likes to run, like we've all got our favourite running areas. Where would you organise a fun run? Like the City to Surf, whoever came up with that, what a great fun run, Someone's done it from the city to the surf, and you finish at the beach, and you get on the schooners, and you're at Bondi Beach, and it's great. If you could organise one, where would it be and why?
Oh, geez, that's a tough one. Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. It can be Cancun. We can finish at or Miami. We can finish at Coconut Grove and party the night away with all the 17-year-old girls from Real World College. Maybe lock that one in. I haven't really travelled all that much. I don't really know where all the good spots are.
That'll change soon.
I'll tell you what, we can leave it with you. Have a think about it. When we once you've won the world champs and we get you back on the show and you've travelled the world a little bit, I know all the good spots and the good places to finish up. We'll ask you again. Perfect, mate. All right. Well, good luck in Cairns. We'll definitely be following you. We're big fans of you on this show, and mate, we'll hopefully chat to you just after you win Cairns 70.3.
Yeah, keep up the work.
Hopefully. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Sammy.
Cheers.
See you later.
Bye.
So that was Sam Appleton. Great kid, didn't he?
Great guy, yeah.
Great guy, doing big things.
He's in top form.
How do you reckon he can go? Cairns 70.3.
I wouldn't bet against him. He's
on
winning form.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to see him and Timmy have a little battle, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would actually. It would be a ding-dong. Yeah, and I think, as I said, maybe the changing of the guards very, very shortly.
Mate, Timmy Burkle could do all right too up there.
He's a tough competitor, yeah.
He knows that course like anyone else, doesn't he? He's had 2 seconds up there in the full distance. So, yeah, anyway, moving on. Mate, races around the corner.
Yeah, this weekend we've got Saturday here in New South Wales. We've got the club championships for the triathlon for the triathletes, and that kicks off on Saturday at 12:30.
For listeners at home, tell them a little bit about what happens at club champs. It's a little bit different. The distances are a bit different. It's a triathlon, but they race. What are they?
It's a 1K swim, 30K bike, and an 8K run. And
Balmoral, your club, big chance.
Well, we missed the podium last year, and last year was taken out by Warringah. Warringah, got home. They got the cookies with 619 points. They finished 3 points ahead of Coffs Harbour last year. They're coming through the ranks, so that was a good battle last year. Very, very close. That's nothing. 3 points.
Hills,
they finished third last year. They're a strong club. They've got big numbers, and they've never won it before. Hills, I'd love to see them come up.
What about Balmoral? Don't you want Balmoral to win?
I'd love to see Balmoral. I'll be up there competing for Balmoral on the weekend, so hopefully we'll do well. We've won it once, so we've got our name on the trophy at least once.
Nice one. And
that's the Saturday, and then the Sunday we've got one of our biggest races here in New South Wales, one of the Sydney Morning Herald half events, one of the Sydney Morning Herald events, the half marathon, which I think is one of the greatest races in Australia.
Have you raced that a few times?
I've done it many times. Okay. Back in my heyday, and
what's your fastest time for it?
69, and I was pretty happy with that. I dashed down the home straight. Actually, I have to say, this is back in the old days. I'm going to give away my age here. I dashed down the home straight And back in my day, you used to get a card when you went through, a little card with your number, your time on it.
Gotcha.
When you went through the finishing chute. So I dashed down the home straight and I just missed 70. It was like 70.01. Anyway, the lady who gave me the card, gave me this card was 69.54. And I actually just gave her a big hug and said, thank you. I was stoked. So that's what goes down on the record book. So
Okay.
I snuck under the 70.
So
technically.
is it legal?
Yeah, it's legal. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It used to be the old way in the city to surf. It was a matter of who went through the finishing chute, and whoever got the luckiest card. You'd be sprinting with someone to the line, and it would just be whoever got the best card.
Really?
You
Would
could
you
go
ever
through.
like
You could
fisticuffs for the
bundle through.
card?
You could bundle through the bin and try and salvage for a time down the bottom back in the old days.
Really?
But that's all changed. Yeah.
Ever see any stinks at the finish line for the card?
No, but you'd definitely see, you'd beat someone, and then you'd look at the result, and there'd be maybe 5 or 6 seconds in front of you. It's only because they got a better card through the chute.
That's
They'd go
it.
through another chute, and one lady would just be generous to him, or one guy.
Wow, okay. Well, the Sydney Morning Herald half, it's a favourite race of mine too. It's where I got my PB for the half. I'm pretty happy there with my race there. It's obviously
78?
78. It's nowhere near your 69, but it's
Not far off it.
mate, it's 9 minutes.
What's a couple of Ks between friends?
Mate, but the Fairfax team always put on a great event. They've changed the course a couple of times, but haven't they?
It has changed over the years, yeah, many times.
But it's a good half marathon to do, especially if you're looking at doing your first one, or if you're looking at entering. All you need to do is go to www.smhmarathon.com. You can sign up. I'm pretty sure entries stay open until the day before.
It's still open, yeah. Kicks off on Sunday morning at 6:45 a.m. and they've already raised, looking at the website, over $486,000 for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that's great.
That's so good. A lot of the Fairfax events, they don't offer prize money, but they still do a good thing in the fact that they raise a lot of money for charity, which I think, it's a good thing.
Well, they do. There is prize money for offer too in the Sydney Morning Herald.
Is there? Okay,
yeah.
so the City to Surf,
City
no
to Surf,
prize money?
but this one, yes.
Okay, what are they?
I think it used to be 5,000. I don't know if that's gone up or down.
Geez,
but
that's pretty good.
that was as I said. It's roughly around there.
Okay.
There's
And
money on offer.
who's looking like they're going to take the money?
Looking at some of the names I've got on my list down here, Liam Adams is going to be backing up again. This is at least his third year in a row. He won it in 2013 in
Gotcha.
a time of he won it in a time back then, 2013, and 64:38. Liam beat Harry Summers that year. He got second. He ran 64:58. He was not far behind Liam. Last year, Michael Shelley took it out.
Okay. Do you think 64 is quite slow for a half marathon? Like what do they go like? You watch the super fast guys go through, in the elite marathons in 61.
Yeah.
So what do you think it's a hard course? What's slowing them
I
down?
don't think it's really fast myself. I ran my PB there. Saying that,
Okay.
yeah, I run Gold Coast, Noosa, dead flat courses, and yet I ran my PB of 69.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So with $5,000 on the line, what would stop a couple of Kenyans coming over and?
Well, they
taking
used
the
to.
money, is it?
Puma used to bring them out and that sort of stuff just for not for the money, just for the promotion of their product.
Okay.
It looked good. They used to bring them out for the City to Surf, but they've stopped that now. But yeah.
So what? So you reckon Liam Adams can back up?
I'd have to have him as the favourite, definitely. Odds on looking at this.
I heard you mention Harry Summers. Is he racing again?
Look, he was thinking about going round. But I think he's probably going to pull the pin on that. He won the both the Mother's Day fun runs today, the 4K and the 8K around the Lady Macquarie's chair.
Okay.
So I don't think he'll be backing up. Jeff Hunt, he'll be. He's from New South Wales. He's got the fastest debut marathon by any Australian ever.
How quick's that?
2:10.
2:10 for your first marathon.
Faster than Moners and Beak.
Oh
so
my
Jeff
God.
Hunt, his form hasn't been as good as it was. Back probably 4 or 5 years ago. But he's coming back into form. He did the Sydney 10, and he finished 10th there in a time of, where's my sheet? He finished 10th in a time of 30:15.
Okay.
So he's getting back into some sort of shape, and that he'll stick, he'll stay all day.
Okay.
So I'd have him as one of the contenders, but I don't think he'll beat Liam. And then we've got Matty Cox, who he's a good solid runner. He finished, he did the Sydney 10, and he finished 8th there, just ahead of Jeff in 30:12. But I think Jeff might turn it around on that.
What about our young 14-year-old?
Ben, I don't know if we'd put him over 21 Ks at this stage, but you never know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see him go around. But
Mate, let's try and hunt him down. Let's get him on
we
the
should
show.
try and get him on the show.
I'd love
yeah.
to have a chat to him.
See
What
if
about...
that's a misprint?
What's that?
Maybe see if it's, just make sure it's not a misprint.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Newcastle runners.
What about the ladies?
Eloise Wellings, I ran with her this morning actually around the domain. She was pacing the.
Did you keep up?
Oh, I did because she was pacing the 4:30 runners.
Gotcha.
In the 8K. She'll be having a run, and she's I'll have her as overwhelming favourite for that. she'll be the one to beat there. Another couple of girls, Claire Garrity, she'll be running. She's a good solid runner from Queensland. Gets coached by Sean Williams. And
I think she did the Sun Run.
She
did
does
Sun Run. I think she did well at the Sun Run. I think is she a triathlete as well?
No.
Okay.
No, Claire's just a light-framed runner, and she's very, very good at what she does. And, yeah, she does a lot of fun runs. She does the circuit. So she'll be competitive. There's also another lady by the name of Sarah Klein. She went to the Com Games at Glasgow in the marathon. She's also one of those girls that's ahead of Julia, my wife we were talking about earlier, on the marathon list at the moment.
Okay.
So she's got to go around to prove her fitness for the world champs over at Beijing.
Okay.
So hopefully she runs well, and my wife will be going around too. So
okay.
There's a few other ladies.
Do you think Julie Deegan can match it with the best?
Oh yeah, she'll be in there. But I mean, Eloise Wellings is another couple of classes above.
Mate, I'm excited. Unfortunately, I'm stuck at work that day, so I don't get to go along or watch. I'm taking the Lifeguard Academy at Bondi. Something I forgot to mention in the show earlier was, and I wanted to talk to you about this. During the Canberra Marathon, when I was blowing up at about 36k, a bloke ran past me in a pair of Masuas and a floppy hat, and he was running 3:45 pace. He was in the race.
Oh, it's a tough day at the office when stuff like that starts
Mate,
happening.
that was part of the reason that I broke ridiculously. And this guy, I sort of said it under my breath, but I said it loud enough because I wanted him to hear me. And I said, "You effing kidding me, are you?" I was like in a world of pain. And this bloke, not thongs, not backstrap, Masuas. And anyway, I was chatting to the guy I've been training for the Gold Coast Marathon with, this guy, Dave Rogers, and he actually said he's a local guy, and I want to find him. I want to find what time he did. I want to find the method to his madness. Because when I said to Dave, this guy ran past me in a pair of Masuas, he goes, was he wearing a floppy hat? And I said, yeah, he looked like he was running down the shop to get the paper, but he was in the race.
And he's run a 3:05 or something, has he?
No, mate, he's running 3:45s. He was running sub 250.
So what did you finish up with? The 3:08?
I was 3:08. He passed me. No, it was about 32. Right as I was starting to blow, like I was in a world of pain.
You think he's probably broken through?
I reckon he's 110% broken
We've got
through.
to track him down.
I'm going to have to find him.
Bob.
Dave Rogers knows his area. He sees him around a lot. He sees him running with his kids in the Masuas, in the floppy hat, running with his kids on push bikes. Like these kids are on bikes and they just run with him. Anyway, I really needed to bring that up because that was something that I thought was, you see people running barefoot and like that would be hard. It'd be a bit of a strain on your feet, but to be running a pair of Masuas, like.
I remember lining up one year in the City of Surf and at the top of William Street, and there was this young 14-year-old African girl with no shoes on, about to do the City of Surf with no shoes.
How did she go, do you know?
I can't remember, but gee, I thought that's game.
It is, mate. We're dragging this out. We need, before we get on to Dino's favourite running song, we need to let everyone know about our competition. As a lot of you know, we're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. We need you to follow us. We need you to like us. That way you can be involved in our competitions. On Twitter, we need you to guess. We want you to guess the winning time of the Sydney half marathon. The last 3 years winning times, Dino, were?
Well, don't forget last year Michael Shelley won it. He's one of our top runners, if not our top marathon runner. 63:17 he ran last year. Liam, who I've got down as a favourite for this year, came second to Michael Shelley last year, and he ran 65:11 last year. And then Liam the previous year, in 2013, ran a time of 64:38. So that's just some rough ideas.
So somewhere between 65 and 61, let's say. I mean, you could obviously guess outside the box.
Yeah.
But and we're giving away an
entry.
entry.
I'd measure the course if they run 61. And I think so with Pat Carroll. He's got the course record.
Has he?
Yes.
Okay. Mate, so that's the plan. So what you need you to do to enter the competition, jump on Twitter, follow us. We're at run_with_soul, and put your time in, whatever it is, somewhere around that time, around 63, 64. If you can go higher, you can go lower, whatever you want. The guy that guessed my marathon time for Canberra guessed 3:07 something, and I was hating him at the time. I was thinking, how dare he? But he got the money, and he won the voucher. So jump on Twitter, follow us, tweet us at RunWithSoul. Make sure you use the hashtag RWS time. So hashtag RWS time. If you follow us, we'll put a few tweets out. We'll let you know exactly what you've got to do. But the wonderful people at Fairfax are going to give us an entry to the City to Surf. So if whoever guesses the right time will get themselves a free entry to the City to Surf. It's what, $80?
Yeah.
About $80 to enter?
Yeah.
So, thanks to the guys at Fairfax for that. All you need to do is jump on, follow us on Twitter, and guess the time.
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose? Absolutely nothing. It's money for jam, as they say. And the last segment of our show, Dino's favourite running song. What do we got?
This is actually our theme song from our little road trip over at WA from Bustleton. We couldn't get enough of it.
We could. I think we had it on repeat.
We did.
The drive.
We did car karaoke on the way home.
We did.
It was It's a little song by Walking the Moon, and it is called "Shut Up and Dance." And
Shut up and dance.
yeah, Reedy might even want to sing you a few tunes.
No.
Start us off, Reedy. Come
No,
on.
mate. No, I will not. I'll let you guys.
Enjoy the tune, guys.
Enjoy the
It's been a
tune.
great show. We've really enjoyed it.
It has, mate. Dino, thank you very much.
Thank you, Reedy. It's always a pleasure.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, shut up and dance with me. We were victims of the night. The chemical, physical, kryptonite. Help us to the face and fade in light. Oh, we were bound to get together, bound to get together. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We took the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, shut up and dance with me. A backless dress and some beat up sneaks. My discotheque, Julie